All right, so again, it's called to order and I'll start with the roll call, please.
Chair Michi.
Here.
Vice Chair Van Arken.
Here.
David DeBoss is not here tonight. Brian Dorsey.
Here.
Diane Foster. Here. Lawrence O'Keefe.
Here.
Mike Smith.
Here.
Bruce West.
Here.
And Lori Swingley. Here. Very good, thank you.
Perfect, thank you. So the first thing on the agenda is the approval of the August. Yeah, that's right, you didn't have September, August meeting minutes. Did everyone have a chance to review those?
Motion to accept the minutes as written. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any discussion? Okay, then the motion carries. Next, we'll move on to citizen comments. Do we have any comments today?
No, we do not.
That's okay. We have a citizen.
Yay.
Not yet.
So the next thing is to welcome our new board member, David. And if you guys remember, he was here at the last meeting as a silent observer. This was his chance to talk, but he's not here yet or at all today. So we will just push that to the next month and he can introduce himself then. So let's go ahead and do board member announcements. So why don't we start with Larry, if you want to go first?
No new announcements. I did attend the traffic safety committee August. There was not one in September. So I have an update for you later in that.
You can leave that one. Val?
Nothing really from me, except for we have walked the bridge quite a few times, so that's fun.
I missed the grand opening. My kids had a soccer game at the exact time, of course. But I assume a lot of people here went. I know Kim, I saw a picture of you there. Was that girl?
A lot of people. It was awesome when the marching band led the way across the bridge playing. That was so cool.
That's gotta be exciting. There's cookies I saw.
Cookies with the bridge picture on,
Yeah.
copies that they were imprinting the bridge picture on, and
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
it's very cool.
Fun experience.
And I have actually driven by, just coincidentally when school has gotten out and the groups of kids that are walking across the bridge at the same time is kind of cool to see.
I see like a little pod of cross-country runners running across it too, so it's like, oh, that's good. Okay, Amanda?
Yeah, I think it's really great. I love the bridge. We've been walking it just about every night when the weather's nice, and it's nice to see it so actively used. And I didn't have anything else.
Already?
I do.
Surprise. I hardly ever say anything at this point.
I got to see our guys in action, last week, maybe 2 weeks ago. There was some excitement in my neighborhood right across the street. There was an arrest made and the occupant was not overly cooperative initially, so the bullhorn was coming out and they rolled up silently. The only thing that told me they were there was I heard a radio squawk when I was standing at the front of the house in my son's room, and I thought, I know what that sound is. What's going on? I looked outside and I've got 6 police cars right in front of my house and an unmarked sheriff's vehicle. And the deputies were out. They had their helmets on, they had their gear on, and they had their rifles unslung. And I thought, what's happening?
Going back into the house.
What's going on? So I got my son and put him in the back of the house and just kind of kept an eye on it through the window and just it resolved, but it was very interesting to watch how well handled it all was. I mean, there was a car that came up the one of the green space paths. It was sitting on one side of the house, then there were other cars sitting out in the front of the street, and then I heard later that there was a command post over at the Mormon church. So there were a bunch of cars over there along with incident command, and I thought, the only thing that I would have wanted to see happen a little differently was to have gotten a knock on my door to say, go to the back of the house. Because clearly there was the potential of having a gun involved. And I found that out later because I went over and I talked to my neighbor. and I learned a little bit more about it, but, that would be my only suggestion is, everything looked like it went off without a hitch. My only concern would be knock on the door and say you need to move to the back of the house for a while. And we'll let you know when it's clear. So well done.
Thanks.
That was kind of over by the middle school, that the one that put the middle school.
It was up the road, it was blocks up from, yeah, but yeah.
Yeah,
That it?
That's it.
Wow.
That's enough. Thank you.
Yeah.
This will make up for it.
No, I'm light tonight, but I wanted to call out, let me make sure I name it right. Saturday, Kids Safe Foundation's gonna be here doing their kid, gun safety stuff. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And I can't get my granddaughter here because we have cheer on Saturday. But we've done it once and I know Richard, you've done it. It's a great program. So anybody that's got little kids or grandkids, it's a good deal and the guy's great. He does a fabulous job. So.
Yeah, it's Derek, right?
Right.
Yeah.
What's the age range?
Yep.
Raylan when she was 4.5, but she'd been around guns a lot, and she went up front and did something with them, but I'd say kindergarten, first grade, it will really stick if they haven't been around a gun range and stuff.
Yeah, I think it's pretty young.
yeah, I think my youngest was like 4 or 5 when we did it.
So it's all about recognizing, knowing what to do and how to communicate about it, which is the most important stuff for kids and guns.
Do they pay to come to that or? So that company just comes and does it?
Yeah, it's a foundation, so it gets grants and stuff. And I just pulled it up because I knew it was a Saturday. He's all over the place. He's
He has some like big sponsors like Cabela's and stuff, and he helps everybody do it all for free.
he just did Centralia, down in Eugene and Springfield, and he's got stuff scheduled out, where he's going next.
Yeah, he's been here a dozen times.
Yeah, I've seen him here quite a bit. That's why I was like, oh, that's free. Nice.
You said that's this weekend?
Yeah, Saturday. That's all I got. Easy.
Brian, you're up.
Yes, I don't have much either. Just wanted to, I watched, just read up on the latest posting on Facebook. It was put out 2 hours ago. 870 activities. Isn't that more than we normally see by a?
That's a 2-week, that's a 2-week period.
There we go. Okay.
It's still high, because typically it's 7 degrees.
Yeah, yes, okay. I thought it was, so. But, is there anything that we're seeing as far as trends as to why that, I'm seeing a lot of repeat offenders that are, sort of going through the revolving door of the justice system that we're catching again and again.
And there's nothing specific, I mean, it's just an uptick and.
Yeah.
I learned my lesson. I've only gone through it once.
Yeah, but that was all I had. I mean, of course, you all are doing some great work and I appreciate it.
It's what's nice is, well, I think I hate to say fully staffed, but we have just about everybody working on the road right now for the most part, so that's always helps.
Yes.
And I'll talk a little bit about some transitions coming up, but yeah, people are being active, so that's good.
I get my own time later.
Fine. I didn't get to attend to the bridge opening, but I've been across it a number of times. I love the lights at night. Cool. I've been on the road, just got back about an hour ago from about 4 days up in Seattle, meeting friends and family of my girlfriend's, so that's always fun. But interestingly enough, one of the friends used to be an instructor at the police academy. When I told him when I was a member of this, he said, Sherwood, I've dealt with a number of the Sherwood folks. They've got good folks going through school. Oh, good. So, well, that was.
So the only things I had was, I just wanted to say that it's been an exciting week for our community. We have a Chick-fil-A opened, Jamba opened, so there's some excitement, some new stuff. And Anderson's, I just heard about that.
And the Goldfish Swim School.
And also over by it, there's Tap House or something. And then there's also up here across from Home Depot, there's another.
Bearcat Brewing.
Yeah, Bearcat.
Pottery place down there by the
So-
swim.
Hot spot.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, so many things.
Yeah, so that's great,
I
because I know there's all this talk about, oh, the theater's gone and, you know, Costco's no longer coming. It's like, no, there's excitement, there's new stuff happening. So I just wanted to emphasize that if anyone hasn't visited any of these places, let's show them that they're welcome here. And then also, Pirates of Pinehurst, anyone who has kids, grandkids, I always suggest.
I know.
bring their kids out there.
It's good for adults. Kids, but they're adults.
Anyone who's not familiar with it, it's a neighborhood that has taken upon themselves these last 4 or 5 years to go all out for Halloween, and it's pirate themed, and they put on this show with animatronic skeleton pirates and a video playing, and there's a treasure hunt that happens throughout the trails in the city, and kids find doubloons and medallions and redeem them for candy, and it's this whole huge thing, and it's one of those charming aspects of our city that just really makes it feel like a community, and you're, you know, really happy to be a part of it. So I always like to advertise for them.
Do you know what they raise money for?
I do not. I know they have a foundation.
No, they don't have a foundation, but they raise money for the Sherwood Education Foundation.
Oh, okay.
It all goes towards the musical theater at the high school because they don't have a big booster club like athletics does.
Mhm.
So,
Oh, no kidding.
and they even have some of the high school kids from the department come out and help do some of the, yeah, that's.
Oh, it's really cool. So yeah, that's my pitch. Go see it. Thursday, Friday and Saturday nights, like I think 7:30 and 8 o'clock for the shows.
Yep.
Weather permitting. If it's a big pour down, it's canceled, but a little sprinkle, you can still go.
Is it a walkthrough or drive-through?
Walk through park off of Pinehurst, like down on Woodhaven usually, and then walk through. There's 5 or 6, 7 houses that are all involved in it.
You probably have to sign off and agree that you're going to be a participant if you want to move in there, huh?
I mean, they may have had so one of the houses is the mayor's house, and then when the one next door was sold, they actually had the realtor and they did like a video with the pirates showing the house. That's what you were into.
I'm looking for a new crew member.
Yeah.
All right, so we're moving on to business. I think we have a pretty full agenda here.
Right,
It's all
let's
good.
get to it. So I want to bring this to you. This is something that we're looking at. Obviously, you know, probably our biggest complaint is speed and distracted driving. And one of the opportunities that has come available to us 2 years ago, legislative wise, was allowing us to use speed enforcement in residential areas, anything that's not associated with the highways, basically. Just to recap, I think in 2010, we put these cameras in at Sunset and Roy Rogers, and those have obviously been there for a number of years. And like I said, legislation just has allowed us to start enforcing in residential areas. It's obviously a big concern, school zones in particular. The hurdle we have, and I'm gonna talk about it, is the way the legislation is written right now is it still has an 11-mile-an-hour threshold that has to be exceeded before a citation's issued. And I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just clicking here for fun.
And that's regardless of the speed. So if it's a 25 mile an hour,
You gotta be doing 36.
36
Yeah.
or more.
So, let's full screen here. So I'm bringing this to you, obviously I'm gonna take it through the traffic safety board and then the city council, because ultimately, that's where some decisions are gonna have to be made. Let's see if I can make this. There we go.
David's trying to join via Zoom. Is there a way we can?
Yeah, I think so. It'll take me a minute.
Okay. Like I said, speed, distracted driving, probably more than anything, just the operational benefit. The biggest hurdle we've had on Highway 99 and what, really catapulted that for us is, as you know, we have a big culvert. We just can't enforce speed on Highway 99 very effectively. And secondly, probably equally important, if not more important, is just our staffing. 2 officers on at a time, for most hours of a day, make that a little bit more difficult. So what these will allow us to do is place them around the city. And I'm gonna show you a program that we have, that, either complaint driven or just data driven, combination thereof, where we can start addressing some of these things with speed. I'm gonna go back to what I said earlier, 11-mile-an-hour threshold is where we'll have to start. Hopefully, we can work with the legislation in this short session with the senator now, Courtney, near on.
Miss Lynn.
Yes,
Listen.
yes, that. I have spoken to her, so she has some interest in seeing what we can do with that, but I think it'll be a great tool for us. This is what it looks like. It's like this big box. One of the companies and the company that we've been speaking with is already the one that we're in contract with our current speed and red light enforcement. What's cool about this is that we can move this around every 30 days. So we can identify a street, an area, and we can place it out there and let it run for 30 days. And then we can then move it again to another place.
Do you move it or do you have to have the vendor?
So the vendor does everything. Actually, I think I had that. Which slide is it? Maybe it's on the next one. They'll move it. They actually do everything. We can't move it prior to 30 days without a cost to us. Now, granted, there's a cost associated with this thing. But an extra cost won't be incurred if we wait 30 days. So.
See if I can join him in.
Sure. While she's trying to do that, you see the little box there. And then I'm gonna go to a program that I know at least Larry and Richard are familiar with.
Oh, there it is. Can you hear us?
Can you hear us? We can see you.
I can hear you.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
I'm stuck in California. I'm sorry.
No problem. We'll give you a chance to talk, the next phase, I guess.
Okay. And
All right. And then
sorry.
we can just go full screen. Actually, it's fine. We can just leave it there.
Okay. Oh, here we go. That it?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, cool. Obviously, these are the things that always come up. Big Brother's always a big concern. What kind of data are we collecting? Is this fair? Should we be doing this? You've probably heard it. If you haven't complained yourself, then you've got a citation, maybe, or maybe not. I don't know. But this is not gonna replace officers. It's just a tool. It just augments us out there. It just helps us. It's just gonna be a big benefit, like I said, because we can't be everywhere at once. And anybody that's sat on the traffic safety board hears these complaints and can appreciate maybe what this will help us with. The accuracy and calibration, they've been doing this a really long time. They know what they're doing. They give us all the data, they do all the testing. If in fact we go to court, they give us what they call evidence packs. So we just present that. It's nothing new for us. It's just a little bigger lift because obviously it still requires us to review these citations, determine whether or not there's in fact a true violation, issue them, all the things that we're currently doing. This would be in addition to. The downside is that doesn't increase our personnel. It's not going to have that kind of benefit. This is really driven to change behavior and to say, Sherwood community, we hear you. Here's a tool that we can utilize. Obviously, speed traps and things that you hear, but and then the biggest thing is obviously the cost. These aren't cheap. They're contracts. Just the quick back of the napkin data. Seems like we could probably afford it just based off of the things we see and the number of violators that we can capture on Roy Rogers, Oregon Street, Meineke, Sunset, you name it. Those are probably the biggest arterials in the city that would support 11 over. And what I mean by that is, oops, let's exit here. We have this program right here. We just acquired this, and I think you've heard us talk about it, Urban SDK. This gives us, I shouldn't say live data because I believe it's 7 days behind. It's really good, accurate data of what's going on. So this system captures vehicle movement throughout the entire city. I'll give you a couple streets and let you know what the traffic or what the data shows. This captures about 40% of the vehicles moving right now because it's the computers in the car. And actually, if you use Apple Play and some of those kind of things, it'll capture some of that data too. So you don't capture 100% of it, but you're capturing 24/7, 365. So it really does level itself out and give us some pretty good data as to what's going on. So for example, one of the streets that we often hear a lot of complaints on is Oregon. So we have the ability to go in here and take a look at this, and it's not showing up like it does on my computer. Of course it's not. Well, normally, oh, there it is. Okay. So normally I can get this. Okay. Can't get, oh, there it is. So what this does is this gives you, it'll break it down actually into little sections. So in that little section that I clicked on there where you can see the northwest, southeast, in that little area right there, they're saying the average speed is 38 in a 25-mile-an-hour zone. And then it gives you the percentile. So, at the 85th percentile, it's 42% or 42 miles an hour slower. 95 percentiles at 45 miles an hour. But
How do they get the data?
it's collected on the car. So your cars are.
So I am being bothered?
Everywhere.
And then some of the older cars, if you're using like Waze, it
Yeah.
picks up if you're using Waze and some of those things. I mean, eventually it'll probably pick up everybody, and maybe they already are. They're just not telling us.
So that's interesting because that's at the top of the rise. So from both directions, that's kind of at the top. It's not on the downward. So.
Yeah, so that's coming just past Tonquin there. Right? No, that's not at Tonquin yet. This is Tonquin, right? Yeah. So, and then this, and I actually clicked on the wrong part of Oregon. This is where we get a lot of our complaints. So,
There we go.
so this is the 25-mile-an-hour zone. Sorry, let it,
Oh my gosh, that's very alarming.
so that could be a lot of different things. It could be a motorcycle, it could be a double axle, or not a double axle, but typically these high speeds are a lot of times motorcycles.
Like triple the speed.
Does it pick up police cars?
It does. It could have been one of us.
Okay.
It picks up, I mean, our cars have that capability to be tracked that way. So so right in there, you come around up here at the bend. Whoops. Right in here in this little thing.
Yeah, I got a ticket when somebody was sitting in the old parking lot there. once.
Oh, really?
Yeah, back in the day.
Can I ask a question?
Sure. Can you see-
So I can't see the display screen, but do, like, is it proactively reviewed like this data, or is it like all based on like requests from public?
We just acquired this
Okay.
in the last 2, 3 months.
Okay.
So this is a brand new tool for us to help identify some of these areas and get a better idea because a lot of times, and you can probably appreciate it, I know in the neighborhood that you're at, that
Yep.
when you're out and you see vehicles, they seem to be going faster than they a lot of times are. And so this helps us identify that. So when we get complaints or we're getting a lot of inquiries, we can come in here. Hopefully, that's the idea behind this. We can come in here and take a look at this and go, okay, this is what we're seeing. It's not that there aren't speeding, but this is what we have on an average, and this is some of those things. So this is as we learn a little bit more about the tool, we're gonna be able to utilize it better. But
Okay.
it's gonna be in conjunction with these speed enforcement mobile units that we're talking about. I don't think you were on when we were talking about it.
I saw it on the agenda. I missed that. Yeah, that first part. I'm sorry. I missed the,
So just real quick, it's just, we're exploring the idea of having a couple of these where we can move them around in residential areas and high speed areas for enforcement, just because we don't have the personnel to try and address all those things.
Mhm.
And like I said, in conjunction with this helps us to take a look at some of this and confirm the data that maybe we're seeing or hearing about, and then seeing where we want to place these things. So anybody else got another street maybe they want to take a look at?
That Hill,
Oh, I don't know if I have Lat Hill on here.
on Sunset.
Is the enforcement part like similar to like I think Beaverton does like a mobile van speed enforcement?
So it's yes and no. These are unmanned, like monuments. They're about
Okay.
tall. They have the ability to move. About every 30 days, the company will come out and move them. So there's no personnel requirement to use them. It's just on the back end, just like we do with our current red light and speed enforcement cameras.
Okay.
Are tickets then issued off of this, that, and you can move them every 30 days, but when is the data reviewed and when are tickets issued?
So it would follow the same guidelines that we have right now with the Vera Mobility that we use. So we have to issue citations within 10 days. 10 days once it's issued, or once it's captured or not captured. Yeah, captured. So it still follows all those timelines. You said, oh my gosh.
Are you able to pull a report of like what speeds are getting the most drivers at higher rates? So you can say like, oh, Timbrel, there's always a lot of people going 20 over, so that's an area we're gonna focus on, or
Yeah, so it captures that percentage for us, so we can take a look and go, okay, this is an area of concern. I don't know if I think it breaks down even time, but again, I've just dabbled in it a little.
and then going back to the mobile enforcement unit, if it's an area where there's a school zone, say from 07 to 1700, are you able to modify what it's capturing at that time versus outside of that time?
Great question, because I just asked that. I wanted some clarification because I learned that this also has potentially the ability for, and I don't want to get sidetracked on this, but license plate readers, LPRs, we've talked about those. It has the ability, I think, to do that, so it can send you data if you have like stolen cars, suspended drivers, warrants, those kind of things. If in fact that's something that we even want to entertain. It's a great tool, but then again, somebody's got to be there to be on the receiving end of these things, and or whether or not it's something that we want right now. But I think all of those things are available. I just don't know how to mine it yet. Because there's a lot to it. I literally just got signed on today. I'd seen it, so I got to play in the sandbox of it, so I was familiar with it, but all the other things that come with it are I need to still learn. So this is Sunset and
That's right in front of Woodhaven where there's a stop sign. So I think people
Right.
slow down, right? The intersection you're on, there's a
Okay.
stop sign there.
Okay, so this is Timbrook. No, is that Timbrook?
Yeah, Timberville's
Okay.
to the left, the trend.
Okay, let's see what it says right there.
That.
Sorry, David, I know you can't see this. So average speed in there is 35 or 34.
That's not bad, since it's 35, it's pretty good.
And to your question there, the 95 percentile, you know, that doesn't,
Yeah, that's not, I mean, the
That doesn't-
70 is egregious, but 39 is not egregious.
no, I mean, we hear a lot about the speed right in that area and,
It feels fast because it's a short road and there's a turn and,
mhm.
Yeah.
you know, so the perception is a lot different
Yeah.
than the reality.
And then, so I
What about to, yeah,
I
right
think
where
they
you're
get
there,
going,
that's where the dip is.
right here,
Yeah, and I think people pick up speed going down that hill there. Either direction.
so average is 34. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Go over to Lad. I agree with Mike.
I don't know if I don't know.
It's right there. It's just further to the.
Right here, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe they do have it in here. So we do get quite a few complaints right in here.
Or even down below.
That's so high in this county, right?
Right by Willow.
Yeah.
That's loud, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so, it just has a big chunk. It's not breaking much down. So
Ooh, 84.
37, yeah, probably coming down the hill.
Go up the next segment just before sunset.
Right here?
That go.
Yeah, up by Willow.
On Lad.
Hang on.
So the next segment, oh, up here, right there, right?
Right in this?
Yeah.
That's coming to a four-way stop though, so it shows.
26.
And that has the flashy thing
Yeah.
too.
And then as they pick up speed, kind of going up or down, like to just pass Willow. This is a pretty good stretch that they like to.
Thirty is the average.
36 is the.
But it's
35,
25 speed limit, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah.
The bikes sure blow through there.
Yeah,
Right?
Oh, they're terrifying.
and then, I think Meineke in front of the, middle school is another big. I'm like, is that it right there?
The red one, yeah.
Yeah, so this is here's the high school, so right in front of the high school.
I see there's some layers up there that you can put down. Are those?
Yeah. Like if, and also to the right, there's date and time, like if we remove the school zone times, is that something you can do where you
Probably.
take that out and figure out?
It's like so much.
This is like an experiment for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like so much interesting data. Like, I'm glad I don't have this on my desktop because I would just be sucked into it for hours. Yeah.
I had a couple more questions about the mobile traffic camera. Is it multiple cameras?
Yeah.
So you would catch the cars approaching and.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And how many stations would we have at once?
So the conversation right now that I've been having is trying to do two.
Two at each location.
No, just cameras within the city. I mean, they're just not cheap.
Yeah.
I don't wanna I just don't wanna inundate us with this. I think two is a pretty good thing. So I guess I'm going off of our speed trailers that we've had. You've seen them around for years. One of them doesn't work anymore, and you know, the other one, we drag it around as best we can. But I think that's something that we can manage, and not that we're moving these things, but I'm concerned about the back end of this. Because Angie and Sabrina, and Bill and Sheena and Chris and Kenny, I mean, that's who's involved right now with what we do. So it's just gonna be an additional workload that we're gonna have to make work with the people we have there.
So you have to decide which direction on the road you're targeting.
No, to catch them both.
It goes both.
Yeah, so if I put it on one other side of the street, it'll catch either side east west.
Is that second box on top, is that
That's the
another
other-
camera that
yeah.
goes the other direction?
Yeah, so this camera's catching, these people probably going north and these people are south. So,
But usually from the existing stuff, you get multiple shots of, or pictures of the offender.
yeah,
You can see them coming and going.
yeah, this has some of those capabilities. It's not gonna be as robust as the up in the air and dialed in. I mean, obviously, your lanes are much smaller and you can capture a lot of that with these. Still learning, so just with exactly what they can do, but I know they've been around. Arizona is where this company is out of, so Arizona is always a test bed for a lot of this, but they've found a lot of success with them, and we've just heard so much about what can we do, how can we enforce speed, and this is an option, so.
Yeah, I love this concept, but I gotta tell you, the first time that slide popped up, and the first thing that popped into my mind is probably very juvenile was, oh, that's large enough to get tagged and the cameras to get smoke tagged.
Yep. So,
Over.
Yeah.
I did ask about that. They said that the lenses and stuff on there, I don't wanna say anti-graffiti paint. I mean, they know it's gonna happen and they can go and remove it pretty quickly. It's just kind of the nature of the beast, unfortunately. We used to have people that, when we first had these cameras, they tried to do some goofy things, but
What about night vision? Do you know what the capabilities are?
it put in force. It's just like the cameras already. I mean, that, there is another good question because it's gonna have a flash, so.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's gonna look like for a driver, but they've vetted all this stuff, but that's a very good question. I'm gonna be at IACP next week. It's a Chiefs conference and I'm guessing that they'll probably have a lot of this information that I might be able to dig in a little bit more about, but.
Our current cameras, they pay for themselves. I would assume that this, we'd be able to afford it just based on the citations issues.
I think so. And for me personally, the only, I think if I had any reservation is the 11 mile an hour threshold. Because that's not acceptable in the neighborhood. You don't want to be writing citations at 37 and a 25.
so right now, what is the rule of thumb threshold for your traffic enforcement?
I think in school zones are around 6-7 miles an hour over. I mean, I think that's reasonable. I mean, you gotta have that variance of just movement, but that's just me personally and some of the conversations I've had. I mean, obviously it's discretionary for the officer, but I think if they're sitting in school zones that it's at 20 and you're doing 26, 27, you're probably getting stopped. Definitely 28, 29 for sure, but those are things that I think are good conversations to have because this is going to be a legislative lift if we want to try and have a real impact here. I mean, for those to really try and address behavior, it can't be 11 over.
So the chief's meeting, it would be interesting to know who else is looking at this to build your coalition to get this dealt with in a special session. If it's just little old Sherwood, then somebody else that's a big lift.
Yeah, I think, well, I know that, actually, I think David asked it before. I mean, there's some agencies that have the vans that are in place. This is just, I mean, it's just the same kind of concept, so. I think there's interest in it, but you're right, Chris. I mean, Sherwood by ourselves, it would probably be a challenge, but, it's a pretty easy middle of the road ask on both sides of the aisle to go. This is just about public safety and, so hopefully you wouldn't have a whole lot of resistance, you never know. So, that's really all I had on that. I just wanted to get it out there. and I wanted to show you that urban SDK program that we have. So yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty valuable in what we can do and just how we can mine some of that data.
What's the name of the company again?
Which one?
The one that's.
Vera Mobility.
Vera Mobile.
BERRAMOE. Mobile, ILITY. Vera Mobility.
So just because I've been dealing with short session stuff. The word on the street is that legislators are only gonna each get 2 bills.
Thank goodness they've been listening.
No, I agree with you on that because it's been out of control, but that's why you need to build coalitions. Because if Senator Courtney, whatever it now is, I can't, she only has 2.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a huge challenge.
What they're gonna need to do is work together and package their bills together, which is really much better than somebody who entered 400 bills themselves, one
So-
person.
I don't know if Tiger's thinking about playing in that box,
I'm not sure.
but I would ask Jamie because Representative Bowman, because of his leadership role, gets more bills. And that's still under Courtney. He's still in the same district, but that's just playing the short session. Those are the sorts of things you need to think about.
So I know when I'm driving around, I'll see a sign that says speed is photo enforced. And then down the road, there's the camera. Are we gonna put signs up around the city that'll cover that, or is there a temporary orange sign they stick up just for this?
So right now, as it stands, just because of the cameras we have to have every entrance coming into the city signed. Basically saying that enforcement in the city. This, I believe, has to have an additional, if I understand, I think it's within 100 yards or something like that. And there's some additional requirements that we'll have to have in play.
Why?
That's a temporary sign though, that they would move with the camera?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
yep, they would handle it. It's just what the law
It
says.
is the law. That makes no sense to me whatsoever, but okay. if that-
Maybe it makes it more like enforceable, like they're like, hey, we warned you.
You have fair
And you
warning.
still got caught.
So, and that brings me back to something I forgot to mention earlier. I always do this. Last month, there was a little crosswalk enforcement. And there was signage put out ahead of time. And I had to slow down to read it. I mean, but that evening that it was done, our family made 5 passes through that. And the first pass, I definitely came to a complete stop because a certain sergeant that I know really well was stepping out. And he wasn't even all the way across, and he looked back at me because we were all smiling at him and said, "Move on, there's a car behind you." But I thought that was really good because that's a bad spot. And a lot of people, I saw a lot of cars pulled over my 5 passes through that. So it was good changing behavior.
Yeah, I mean, those are great to do. We just had time and personnel.
Yeah, because there had to have been 5, there was 3 walkers and 1 or 2 patrol cars that were doing the education portion.
Yeah, and this city has a lot of walkers, a lot of runners. I mean, it's important. It's just trying to, when we do it, we do stop a lot of people. But
I have a question from somebody who sent me a question, wondering how many tickets can one person process in an hour?
we just had this question. I think if you're cruising along, you can probably do 20, 25.
If it's,
It takes a good 2 to 3 minutes to process.
If everything's
If
there.
everything's, yeah.
Out of staters take longer, probably 5, 6, 7 minutes.
Yeah.
We do have a lot of out of state citations that we issue. We have a lot of rental vehicles. Just a lot. I think because 99 people are sort of the back of line, casino, yeah, beach, whatever. So we do get a lot of those, but I think for our seasoned reviewers, I think 2-3 minutes of citation.
Do we have any laws on the city books that would allow for stiffer penalties for graffiti on the camera lenses?
I don't know,
No, it's just.
wish I knew the code back and forth, but I don't.
It's just standard, you know,
Not to
whatever
say you
damage.
Couldn't, our code can be updated and changed all the time, but.
Maybe we should do that.
Yeah, I mean,
In
it's,
conjunction with
the reality of it is, they're gonna get tagged. Somebody really angry might try and run one over, I don't know. I think for the most part,
How much do they weigh? How easily movable are those?
I want to say they're between 300 and 500 pounds, I think I read. I mean, they're not light, they're not light, by any means, and I think they bolt them down, you can see the bolts.
Mounted on.
Yeah, they drill down, and so,
Okay.
you know, they know what they're doing, so when you move it, they probably do all the.
It's like somebody wanted to like drag off an ATM, they gotta come and put a,
Yeah.
you know, a.
So is the plan only to put these on some through roads, or would these go in actual residential, like Woolwich back here, would it be on a road like that ever, or?
I think the goal would be go wherever it needs to. It's just, you know, right now, if we're gonna move forward and really explore this, we're gonna have to be on heavier roads that we can capture 11 and over.
Yeah, so it's justifiable,
Yeah.
so, I'm curious if there might be people concerned about, you just put a camera pointing at my house. We're off the main roads.
Yeah, good question.
I wouldn't think that that would be too much of a concern, but there's definitely. You know, there's people out there who throw rocks at electrical substations because they think they're sending brain signals to them or something, you know, stuff happens, people.
It's interesting to see like where they're, like.
What pointed at, yeah.
Yeah, and how far it can see, like, it's gonna be pointing at the car coming at it, it probably is not seeing like all the way.
And is it rolling video that's captured? Or is it just, I get the speed and I snap it?
My understanding is just like the other cameras, 24.
Oh, okay.
And it's tagging when the sensors say there's
Yeah.
an issue.
There are YouTube videos of these, if you guys want to just take a look at them in operation. They might answer some of those questions. I haven't seen them at night though, but I'm leaping with an assumption that they do the same. But that's a great question. I hadn't thought of that, but I'm sure somebody brought it up somewhere along the line, so they can probably address it and say, our field of view is curb to curb. Because anything in the street of the right of way is. Right away, so it can't be, it's, you know, once you cross that, basically that front yard threshold, but.
So who keeps all,
Go ahead, now you.
I was gonna say, who keeps the data, the photo, videos?
Rural Mobility keeps it all. I mean, we have access, so we have a back end system that we operate out of.
Yeah.
And so that's how we can go in and review all these things. But if we needed something outside of what they sent us, then we'd have to request it from them. So we have used these for the cameras we've used them for investigations before crashes, things like that. We've been able to go back and watch a crash or look for a specific vehicle related to a crime, which has been helpful. But I mean, we have to request it.
So my question comes on Richard's about privacy. When something happens and what half the people in neighborhoods have rings and we're capturing stuff. And sometimes that's helpful in an investigation. Is there been any case law challenges of privacy because that's somebody's personal ring camera that's capturing evidence?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
I think he's saying, could you mount a defense that you can't use that footage because it wasn't obtained by a law enforcement officer necessarily.
Kind of, and that privacy was invaded because of that. The images were caught by my driveway camera.
You have no expectation of privacy on the public sidewalk.
Yes, on the roadway, whatever ring camera captures, yeah, they are not protected, and that's why we solicit it. That's why you see Ring, they work with law enforcement and, so, yeah, now I understand your question. Yeah, it's not like we're capturing video on private property. That, you're right.
Using video captured on private property by a third party. That's
Like
why.
my Ring doorbell camera.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't have to give it to law enforcement.
right, but if you do, it was the whole, could a defense raise or have defense raise that objection?
I've never seen that because we canvass a lot. Anytime something comes up, we canvass businesses and homes for video footage. And
Cause there's a lot of cameras probably mounted to a lot of things in a lot of areas that are privately owned.
And that's why I was wondering if that is really even an issue with this one. It's posted knowledge out there.
I think the difference would be is if it's capturing more than just the public right away, if it's capturing if you're capturing now onto private property and somebody's house. Cause now that's private property.
You're looking into their bay window in the background across the street
My
on a 24.
driveway camera captures my neighbor across the streets, house and front yard and everything.
So the fact of the matter is, no matter what you do, no matter how many signs are out there, no how much information gets out to the public, there's always going to be a surprisingly large number of people who complain about it.
Really?
Yeah.
Come on.
Crazy every day when I read it, so.
I've got another idea. Why don't we buy a Tesla and set it on Sentry mode 24/7? Take the car and after it speeds by them.
And just, don't have a diesel generator there.
10 years, we're gonna have,
Yeah.
we're gonna have control like that.
Century.
It's a huge.
Yeah. Officer will sit back here with VR goggles and just don't have it. If there's anything else on this, I appreciate the input. This is a good conversation, but I think it's, like I said, I think it'll be a good tool. There's a couple things that I think we need to navigate.
And you're gonna take it to traffic safety.
Yeah, so next week, I'm gonna take it to.
I think I see it coming up to city council too. Did I see that on the
Yes.
agenda forecast?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about it a lot, so.
Yeah.
Two quick questions. Is there any kind of, since this is the same vendor we already use, is there any kind of volume discounts? The more subscription things we have through them, the cheaper it gets, where it's beneficial to go all in and start with 2 and plan to get more?
In my conversations with them, I think we've gotten the best deal we're gonna get. Just because we've been kind of a long tenured customer of theirs.
Okay.
Cause I think we're one of the first out of the gate to go with them. And so they've been pretty good with this. I know there's some other options out there with vendors, and here's why I don't necessarily want to explore it, because then it's a whole new system to learn. We have all these people working out of this back end, and then we have to switch over and try and navigate and learn this whole, I just don't think so it's just not efficient for us by any means, but. And the end goal is also to just be changing that behavior and addressing the problems, and I think this could do that, so.
Yeah, I agree. And then my other one is, do you want a motion from us to say we suggest you bring this forward to council, or are you planning to do that anyway?
No, I was planning to do it anyways. I mean, I just wanted to bring it to you, just to get it out in front of you, because it's gonna be a topic of conversation coming up, and just, obviously, I wanted to get some input and things that we need to consider, or I should consider, especially as I get it to council, because if you guys are thinking about it, traffic safety board may have some other questions, and by the time I get to council, hopefully I have a lot of these questions answered, so.
Well, then it also gives the to be the conduit to the community who will also have questions when it starts rolling out.
Called specifically again, so we can look them up on.
Vera Mobility, BERRA MOBILITY. I didn't say it fast because then I can spell it.
Awesome.
I would go.
Okay, and I may come back around, once we have a better idea what this is all gonna look like. And, you know, we have the financial impact and some, and I spend a little bit more time in urban SDK, so. But like I said, I just wanted to get it on your radar, because I didn't want you to be going, what are they talking about? Especially Larry and you, when you guys go and hear about this. Oh, yeah.
How much would it cost to upgrade the two systems that we currently have?
Upgrade them to what?
Upgrade them with better cameras? And
They do that already.
Okay,
Yeah, I mean, we just had a major upgrade on those.
So that's part of the agreement with you.
Yeah, so it's kind of like our body worn cameras. If new technology comes across, you know, they'll upgrade the cameras for us, so.
Our contract with them.
Yeah, it's already there. I mean,
So anyway, they'll just replace them.
yeah, well.
no, yeah, I was thinking. of older-
Yeah.
The trailer cameras, if
Those
those.
aren't cameras. Those are cameras.
Those are just
Oh, sorry, I misunderstood you. No, those are just simply radars.
Okay,
Yeah, and they just flash your speed.
okay.
They don't take a picture or anything.
That's just a warning for you. You don't get in trouble.
So we couldn't somehow modify them and put cameras on them and make them just, okay.
Now, they do have options within this technology with trailers. Yeah, you can have some different versions of it, but those become then relying on us to manage and move, and this is a lot cleaner and simpler. Oh, yeah, sorry. Hey, David, did you have any questions?
You can just,
Or I don't even know where I'm at.
I haven't seen David for a while.
Oh, did he leave?
No questions. I mean, I have, no.
Down to the bottom there, where it's that one, yeah,
Oh, there he is.
yeah, and then you can.
And I guess if we're done with business, we can hop all the way back up to welcome your board member. If you want to take a minute to say hi and do a quick introduction, David.
Sure. I'm sorry I'm late. My name's David DeBoss. I've been in Sherwood for about 5 years. I'm currently in California. I work for Apple. I'm stuck in Cupertino doing some work. I go back every once in a while. I've been at Apple for about almost 20 years. Yeah, that's me. I have 4 kids. They all go to Ridges in the community. I lived in the Bay Area for about 5 years before I moved to Sherwood. I grew up in Hawaii. That's the basic gist. But I'm open to questions or anything else. But that's kind of me.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Good to know you.
Are you muted?
It's no.
Oh, it's just delayed.
Oh.
No,
Never mind.
All right, well, let's go ahead and move on down. Thanks for that presentation there, chiefs. We'll move on to the traffic safety board update. Larry, you can go ahead and look at it.
We could jump in if I forget anything, but our last traffic safety committee meeting was Thursday, August 28th. We did not have a meeting in September, and our August meeting, we did not have a counselor, so I wasn't able to get any update. But not that it's typical, but the same situation arrives, you know, traffic, speed bump requests, speeding concerns. Washington and Meineke across the old high school is still a concern for many people. Rollage was another area. The biggest thing that I saw, which is kind of right in my neighborhood, we were talking about Pirates of Pinehurst. I was just reading the package for next Thursday's meeting, and that 4-way stop, the extra 2 stop signs on Pinehurst and Woodhaven, which is right where the Pirates start, was approved, and I would expect to see stop signs very soon. There's also a speed sign on Lincoln Street from Willamette to Division, which is the hill that you were talking about. There's a lot of restrictive parking requests, so I mean, pick any intersection. Pinehurst and Sunset in front of Woodhaven Park. The city painted that, you know, there's always a bunch of cars parked there. The latest one was, Smith and Meineke, where you used to turn to go down to, Generations through there. It's kind of a tight corner and cars are parked like almost right to the corner. So it's kind of a situation. We did talk about, we didn't have a counselor present, but I think the city is probably going to work on a standard response because this is almost a monthly request at different locations around. It's like, you know, can you do something? We can't see, there's cars parked. As the officer, attending, he says, we gotta figure out where those cars are parking, what they're parking for, you know, are they just residents that can't fit in their garage, or is it, you know, a school or something else? So they're looking at that, restricted parking. The biggest thing was the Sherwood school crossing assessment. And, one of the traffic, and I forget, was it Lucy?
Joy.
They looked at Archer Glen Elementary School, Hawks View Elementary School, and Bridges Elementary as far as what improvements would be needed. Now, there was no, as she said, there wasn't an engineering study, but they identified needs and improvements. Some of these things are on private school property, others are like crossways, safe access to schools. And there's a really, I expect an update at next Thursday's meeting for more information on that.
And that, this is jump in real quick, it was actually, it's really cool, and Middleton was listed because they had done a full study the year before on Middleton and had already released that. But the types of improvements talked about Archer Glen, for example, the crosswalk in front, there were suggestions of putting an island in the middle just so that it helps slow, gives a spot for pedestrians to safely come to in the middle before continuing on. And so that's one suggestion. Then changing the flow of parking in the parking lot and, you know, making the turnaround area bigger. And so, you know, there's another suggestion, and that one was something the school district would have to do. And by the time they're done, they have 4 or 5 suggestions going. If you implemented all of these, it would make for a safer, you know, transportation situation around the school. Then with that information, they're going to take it to council and take it to the school district and present it. And then that's where it ends. If council wants to take that information and prioritize some of the street improvements, they're free to do that. If the school district wants to change their parking lot, they're free to do that. We had brought up suggestions about maybe give them a priority list of, if you can only afford one, this is the one, because they all had pretty big price tags associated with them. But it was a very comprehensive look at all the schools and kind of identifying, here's the choke points, here's the issues, and here's what you can do to kind of improve things and make it generally safer. So it was a very robust study. And each school was like a 45-page thing. She emailed them out afterwards. So it was very detailed.
And just to clarify, so that people don't get upset about taxes and everything, funding has not yet been identified. Is that correct?
Yeah, no, right now, nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah.
This is just
It's just,
we're looking at it.
we have some ballpark figures which are bound to go up after engineering studies are done. So, but it's a great study and it's really informative. I think that's it for me.
Yeah, no, I would agree. That's what I was gonna touch on, was the school portion of it. That was the biggest impacting portion of that meeting.
Are those studies available to the public anywhere?
Don't know. We're like,
The meeting minutes or something?
Yeah, once the meeting minutes are approved next week, then they'll be in the meeting packet, so they're probably already online right now.
I just
Yeah,
looked at them tonight.
yeah, they're on,
All that
yeah,
down.
they're in the meeting packet, yeah.
I have a kind of a summary. If anybody's interested, I'll just pass this around.
yeah, the summary is valuable enough. We asked for the full reports, and there was a lot in them. I started flipping through, I got through one of the schools in its entirety, and it took me a couple hours to read it back. I was like, wow.
They put in a lot of work and that was really appreciative.
There's third-party engineering firm they hired to go through and do the studies. So it was very comprehensive. And yeah, we have a meeting next week, and it sounds like you'll be there, Ty.
Yep.
Presenting the same stuff, so we can snooze off during that portion.
Something new.
Maybe. All right, Kim, let's go and go to counselor news.
So on my list, elementary school crossing assessment study.
Oh.
So I'll just give an update on ours. So we've also had one work session as a city council, and then there wasn't enough time for us to actually get in and ask questions, because we had another work session back to back from it. So it's actually coming back to us Tuesday. Joy's coming back to now that we can have a further discussion. And what this does, we had a consultant help put that together, and it gives us some tools that in the future we can apply for safe routes to school grants and things like that. We'll have to identify, prioritize, you know, our goal, next goal would be to prioritize these and put them into our CIP. To, you know, it's nothing that's would probably happen next week or 2 weeks, you know, it's a long process to find funding for things like this, but it gives us a starting point to know what could be done to make our school zone safer, because that's one of our high priorities with the council is getting our kids to school safe. So that's that. Today I had a meeting with Chief here, and I drove in, like the parking lot was packed with cars from every agency I can think of, and I'm like, what the heck? So I came in, I started staring through the window here, and I'm like, I think it's a taser training, because I saw Officer Collins in there. And then my meeting asked to Ty what it was. He said, yeah, taser training. So we hosted a taser training here where, I mean, we had Independence. I saw a car from Springfield. I saw Humane Society law enforcement. I saw, I mean, just tons of agencies in here that we host, and the taser company, Axon comes and does a training, and I thought that was great that we use our facilities for such important things, so.
Is it just a training, or is it like demoing new products?
This was a train the trainer, so agencies send people so that they can go back and then train their personnel on it, and so it was 2 day, pretty intensive. Axon takes that very seriously. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of liability with tasers, although they're a great tool, there's still a lot of liability, and they do a great job. And since you brought that up, thanks, Kim, I'm gonna just compliment Angie, because sounds like Axon loves utilizing our facility and just how accommodating we are, and just, you know, we help out, we're engaged, and, you know, we don't know anybody, but I think it's speaks to the importance of collaborating with a bunch of the other agencies. So thank you for making us look at Angie. As usual, she makes us look.
I know. I just thought that was pretty cool to walk in and see I mean, the room was packed, so.
And who else has city councilors that volunteer to get tased?
We tried, they didn't let me. The other thing, I have two other things. If you might not have heard, there's probably some protests, if that's what you're gonna call them, happening this weekend. The city put out guidelines. They're
King thing.
Yeah, they're allowed on the bridge. It's a free, free speech, First Amendment, right? There's just things that they have to follow, no attaching things to the bridge. Everything has to be handheld, no blocking other people from being able to use the bridge. I expect that it's gonna be peaceful. There'll be a group down in Old Town. The ones that sit down there every Saturday morning must probably be a little bit bigger this Saturday, so. But I think the PD's been aware of what's going on, and so I don't suspect there'll be any.
We have dedicated officers on scene, or you just gonna vote by your?
Drive-bys.
Yeah, I mean, we do have a lot of cameras. Obviously, we're aware of it. This is obviously a national event, so it's got a lot of attention, just not only locally, but there's just a lot of monitoring and what's going on. And so Washington County has a mobile field force. So they're gonna be on standby. We don't expect anything to occur out here. I think it's all gonna be downtown Portland, but we'll still have people here. I mean, probably maybe 100 people in total, maybe, I don't know. I guess we'll see, but.
Yeah. So, but the city was just proactive and giving them, putting what rules are, and the group that's organizing here was proactive in emailing also our city and probably the PD and saying, let us know, so that was great. The other thing I think I've talked about in the past, but housing bills that passed this last session, that continue to restrict the city's local control and being able to plan our own communities is really strangling us, and possibly like our Sherwood West plan could potentially not end up being the concept plan that we've envisioned it, if developers came in and wanted to use every tool that's just been handed to them by the state. But so that's some things we're struggling with, but last council meeting, we had a work session to discuss some tools that can help us, some potential charter amendments. Because some of the rules that came out this last time were even taking away public participation out of planning. So there's now some applications that can come to the city that won't even require a public hearing to go before planning commission or city council. And it could be staff that just makes the decisions on whether to allow a PUD or, different types of development, which I'm all for. Like, this is the kind of things that's gonna happen when you see in the community, people like, well, why did I not know this apartment complex was coming? I mean, that's even gonna make that even worse, like, because now the staff won't even be able to get the city council's input or the planning commission's input. On a PUD, that's a special development that then has to have a public benefit. Well, now city council or planning commission won't even get to have a weigh in on what that public benefit is. Is it a park? Is it something like that? Staff is gonna, and staff's like, they're gonna be making a decision that maybe then in the end, gonna have elected officials that aren't happy with the decision that they've made, things like that. So Tuesday night, this next meeting, we're gonna revisit the potential charter amendments, and it's more gonna be around of our charter can sometimes take precedent over a state legislative thing, and we're gonna push the envelope on this one, about all PUDs, everything still has to go through a public process in our city. So might be coming up in a January election on a ballot measure, if we get the wording right and get it out in time, and just protecting, right, as a city to still have eyes on what's coming through. There's some things we can't have control over because the state says you must do this, but there's things we're gonna try to have control over.
Do you know what kind of voter turnout we had in the last election as far as city numbers?
In May.
In what,
Well, just in the last couple of years in general,
don't.
because I would think that's gonna need a lot of public information being disseminated, get people to get up and do something.
Yeah, but it's not a financial, so we don't get stuck with the 50% of registered voters stuff. So if turnout's only 40, engage 40 and it's still 50+1%, it passes. But financial stuff, you have to have 50%.
Well, they still need to understand the reason for why.
Oh, it'll be a definite education
Yeah.
on the elected officials' parts to educate why this is important, for sure.
So I also heard two things, that the governor's gonna be doubling down on housing, taking even more local authority away. No details, I just
Right.
heard that.
That's why we're trying to get ahead of that with some of this. That's why January is kind of an important time frame.
And then I also hear that, and I can't give any more details other than there's gonna be a push to deal with the legislation that passed, I wanna say 5 years ago or 4 years ago, around Boise and Grants Pass, the time.
Oh, the overnight camping, yeah.
So that to repeal, which there may be a push for that, which will force the legislature to give more authority to local jurisdictions to do what they feel is right.
But I believe, if I'm not right, the Supreme Court did than that, but Oregon had already placed their last
That's
place.
the issue. It's forcing Oregon to make their rules consistent with what the courts have now said.
And I'll just say the final thing on that housing thing, it's not like, it's not like Sherwood doesn't want housing. That's why we planned Sherwood West the way we did. And the concern for council is that, you know, when I first got on council 9 years ago, we were talking about the UGB expansion. And we had citizens up in arms, don't do it, don't do it. The school district said, oh, we're not ready yet to, you know, add that many more students yet. They're in compression against their bondability and all that. And so we held it off. And then we did a 5-year education process with our citizens, 5 years of concept planning, meetings. You know, they finally get the citizens our residents to buy in on a concept plan. They finally did. And now that whole concept plan can basically, I mean, there's been some on council that say like, if we don't have control over that, like, we're not going to go through with the UGB expansion. Like, let's just cancel it. You know, because we want control of what our community looks like. We want our community on what Sherwood West to look like our community on this side. I mean, it needs to mesh, so. Anyways, that's all.
Wait, you forgot.
Well, a couple things. Yeah. So 2 weeks ago, I attended League of Oregon Cities Conference. It was in Portland this year. It was their 100th anniversary, 100 years they've been having these conferences. And there's a big award that they give out called the Field, what's his first name? Mark Hatfield, which is a former governor of Oregon. This is probably an Oregon senator. Okay. And it is given to somebody who has done great work as an elected official. It's or city manager or something in their city, regionally and state. And they actually gave it to Keith Mays, which is our former mayor, current city councilor, who's been serving for 30 years in the city of Sherwood, but regionally, statewide, he's served on the League of Oregon Cities as president. He's, you know, he's been the Oregon mayor's president. Anyways, so that was a big deal. And then our current mayor got elected to be vice president of League of Oregon Cities this coming year, which then will make him president the next year. And that's big as far as having Sherwood a seat at the table at statewide decisions, because the League of Oregon Cities advocates and lobbies for cities and protecting cities' home rule and things like that. Lori?
Doesn't need to be on the record.
So anyway, so that did take place. Is that what you were talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's,
Yeah. So Sherwood, our little town, we make a name for ourselves around the state.
it's great.
Yeah.
Questions for you on something totally different?
Maybe.
Condos being built on Sherwood Avenue, just past the school district office on the right-hand side.
Oh, yeah.
Seems like everything stops. Is there something
Oh.
going on with?
I have no idea.
Oh.
I didn't know that everything had stopped. I didn't know. Yeah, I don't know.
It's just.
No change for weeks, it seems like.
Well, now you've piqued my interest. I don't drive that road actually that often, so I don't know, but
I'll give you some information.
I'm gonna ask. Any other questions for city council?
No, but I'll tell you, it was really nice going down to Wallet and Sherwood and not having a whole bunch of construction going on.
I've been avoiding it, and somebody told me ceremony. I'm what?
No, it hasn't been the ceremony yet.
There hasn't
It's
been?
Monday.
It was just us dancing.
Monday, they're doing the like ribbon cutting like thing and with the county, the city, Tualatin. I'll be there. The mayor.
Getting over to one lane.
Because for longest time, this one didn't go straight, but now it goes straight.
You know, like, oh, yeah, yeah.
I had to take an Uber today and I said, you need to get over in the left lane because this one's gonna disappear. And I thought, it didn't disappear.
It's amazing how.
Right, lady.
Thank
I
you.
moved here with the construction. I'm gonna miss it. So it's been here the whole time I've lived in Sherwood.
I will say though, with the opening, you know, with full capacity on 12th and Sherwood, my hope is that people will now stop using Oregon Street and Sunset as the cut through.
Yeah.
Because 12th and Sherwood is flowing very nicely, so.
Yeah, recently on maps, it said that that road was the fastest route, and I thought, no, it's not. It's not right.
But this morning said that, they
Yeah.
told me to take that because it was now the fastest and it hasn't been the fastest for years.
Things glitch.
So for my commute to Lake Oswego for work, it was like, go that way.
And you did? And it was nice.
Well, I've driven it multiple times.
Yeah.
and Yeah, you go just.
Until they slows down one lane again because they're blowing bark dust on the side of the road. I'm like, gosh. All right, that's it.
Any staff reports?
I guess that's me, huh? Really quick, just for personnel updates, we have, Captain, John Carlson's retiring November 7th, so that's at 3:30 here. You guys are out and about and you want to pop in, he's done his entire career, well, 99% of his career here. So it'd be sad for him to leave. I tried, but he wants to go to Arizona, so. Okay. Then Hector Rodriguez, who's done his entire career here, is going to be ending at the end of the year. A lot more on that. With that, obviously, we have some promotions. So Ben Humphrey will be promoted on the 19th of November. And then the captain position will be Nathan Powell. I think I've given you guys this information before, but those swearing ins will be November 19th. We just extended a job offer to a gentleman here last week, obviously in anticipation of some of this movement. And then our two recruits, one is still in the academy, expected to be out next month. Finish up his FTEP and hopefully hit the road sometime in early next year, hopefully. And then Jessica, she should be hopefully completing her FTEP here in the next 4 to 6 weeks and be on the road. So
So the new offer, is it a lateral or?
no, that's gonna be the downside to that, unfortunately, is the, so we won't see him for 10 months, but. Yeah, I mean, it's been good because, I talked about staffing earlier, you know, we, having the ability to get out ahead of some of these known retirements has really helped us because, you know, we haven't had to sit on these big gaps. I mean, there'll be some with some of the overlap, but not 10 months at a time, so that'll be really nice.
So did I hear Dano is in McMinnville?
Yes, he took a captain position there. This is his second week there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good for him.
And I think as you heard, I think last time he was the interim chief down in Jervis. I don't know, it's called a linebacker program, gives people the opportunity when an agency needs somebody to come and stand in on short notice. So you got the opportunity to go down there and do that for almost 3 months. Yeah, so
And testify about how screwed up their budget was and make it in the press.
yeah, I saw he had his own vote.
He's moving on.
Yeah, so I think that's it for me. I did mention I'm going to International Associations of Chiefs of Police this next week. It's been a handful of years since I've been there, but it's a cool opportunity. They estimate around 16,000 law enforcement personnel attend this from around the world. So it's
Safest city in the world. That.
yeah, it will be very safe. But it's a cool deal to meet a lot of different people, a lot of different perspectives of law enforcement. And just as I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of people selling their stuff. And so we'll get to see what's the latest and greatest.
Show there too, huh?
Yeah. So I'll probably come back wanting just everything. And where's the big hill? Denver. Yeah. Cool. That's it.
Thank you, Chief.
All right, anything else? Move to adjourn.
Second.
All right. Motion to adjourn.
No monkey. Later.
Do you want to see this? This is from the,
No, I said, oh, you said, I don't care.
oh, did you? Yeah, well, yeah, but they can
Give us an update.
What are the traffic safety committee meeting? I saw agenda for last.
Well, I know.
I think that's something.
So 10:30 at night, so I go ride my